2020 census.
Okay. So the trial census is what exactly?
The trial census provides us an opportunity to ensure that all our processes, our interventions, our outputs that we expect from the census are well in place ahead of the census. So one of the things that we are particular about with this census is that as the first time we're doing a digital census and we are using computer-assisted personal interview, it is imperative for us to ensure that the application that we're going to use during the data collection has been well built. So the trial census gives us an opportunity to really test this application and all other processes, as I indicated, to ensure that we are well fit to conduct the census.
For many related times, over the last decade or two, we found the impact of technology playing a critical role in economies around the world. And Africa, if you look at what the general statistics are per our population, is now having a population, millennial savvy, technologically savvy population, etc. IT, artificial intelligence, has also permeated the way we tend to do things around the world as well. How has that impacted the decisions you're taking and the technical facilities you're deploying for the census?
As I indicated earlier on, we're tagging this census as a digital census, and for that matter, our first digital census. Let me look at it from a longer term perspective. And what I mean by that is, from our point of view, that is management of GSS point of view, we should get to a point where data is a byproduct for Ghana. And what I mean by that is, if we really take advantage of the technological era that we find ourselves, every activity of us would be captured in a form of what we call a big data. And every activity of us will be captured and recorded properly by all the agencies that are involved, and that is what we're going to call administrative data. So moving forward, what Ghana Statistical Service intends to do is to strengthen these new sources of data collection, specifically administrative data and big data. Once we do that, it's the initial infrastructure that is a bit off-putting in terms of cost. But if we set our minds to it as a nation and we ensure that all our processes undergo the needed technology that is available globally to us now, data statistics will become a byproduct. In relation to the census, we're taking extreme advantage of the technological era that we find ourselves in. And the first one is what I just talked about. In addition to that, there are a number of technological interventions that we're putting in place. The other basic one has to do with how do we make good use of mobile phones, which has a very high penetration in the country. So what we're doing at Ghana Statistical Service for the census is to develop an app which we're going to call the Citizens Platform, and it's going to sit on our mobile phones, and we expect that Ghanaians would engage with the app so that they tell us their experiences with the census moving forward, whether you've been enumerated, whether you had a bad experience during the enumeration, whether you had a good experience during the enumeration, whether you think the duration was too short as against what your peers are telling you. So that Citizens Platform will not end with the census. Moving forward, we're going to use that Citizens Platform in other ways, and what we are currently thinking about is a new source of data which is called a citizens-generated data. So with time, we are using technology to sort of overcome the data gaps that we have, and it's going to really fill the gap in the surveys and censuses that we do in this country. You know, we do most of our surveys periodically, sometimes 5 years, sometimes we slip by the 5 years, we do the census every 10 years, but what technology will bring to the fore, specifically the citizen-generated platform, is what the mobile app will do for us. Another way we're taking advantage of technology is the georeference data. Technology has made it possible for us to pick geocodes. So what we're going to do during this census is to pick our geocodes, and we are currently in discussion with all other state institutions that are collecting geocodes, i.e. our utility agencies, the National Identification Authority, the Ghana Housing Project, the Ghana Postal System. All these interventions are interventions that are picking geocodes. So moving forward, it's a way of moving towards a formal sector, and it will drift us away from the heavy informal sector that we find ourselves in. Last but not the least, we are using technology by way of ensuring that we have good data. So what we're doing with this census, unlike previous censuses, is that in each district we are engaging a district data quality monitor. And what District Data Quality Monitor is going to do is, during the census period, as we collect the data, he or she will be scrutinizing the quality of the data and be giving real-time feedback on the challenges that may be coming up. Then while the enumerators are in the field, we can, in real time, correct those challenges. So at Ghana,
and that'll be within a 3-week period.
Within the 3-week period. So at Ghana Statistical Service, we are pretty optimistic that we are moving to the full length as far as technology is concerned.
Well, Professor Nee, you kept mentioning mobile phones, and it's good. It's now revolutionized whatever it is communication is, and now it's become everything one-stop shop for any individual seriously wants to use technology to improve life. What exactly are we going to use the phones for, beyond just the interactivity, in terms or in relation to collecting data? Am I going to input the number of people in my household, etc., through an app or something of the sort? I mean, basically, there's a practical usage.